Hi everyone, it's Dawn. Hope you're doing okay and keeping well and having a nice Thursday so far. In this video I'm going to do a review of Saltwater, A Midsummer Ghost Story by Elaine Thomson, and I'll be showing what book I'll be reading next. So I've literally just, well, not long, finished Saltwater, and I'll give you a quick synopsis again of what the book is about. So it's got the Isle of Stroma, 1896. Tom Torrance has been sent to oversee the completion of a new lighthouse, which will guide ships through one of the most dangerous stretches of water in the United Kingdom. The construction so far has been plagued by difficulties, giving rise to superstitious whisperings amongst the men. But Tom is a man of sense and science. He will not be cowed by stories of hauntings and bad omens. Yet Tom is unprepared for the conditions on the island, the isolation and delirium of the endless summer nights. He soon learns that the real dangers on the island have nothing to do with the wild waves. There are some problems that science cannot answer, and some threats so ancient and strange that nothing can keep them at bay. This is a fantastic read. It's about this character, Tom, whose job is to oversee the construction of this lighthouse on the Isle of Stroma, like the fictional island, not a fictional island, I mean, but a fictional setting based on the Isle of Stroma in Scotland. And he is a very complex man. He is dealing with loss and grief and sorrow in regards to a family situation. And he, instead of in his own way, instead of dwelling on the occurrence of what's happened in his family, he decides to return after dealing with a family situation in, I think it's Edinburgh. He decides to return to the Isle of Stroma to carry on his job, which is overseeing the construction of this lighthouse. When he returns to Stroma, the men who he trusts to construct this, this structure, they sort of mistrust Tom. But during his absence of dealing with this family situation, everything has gone swimmingly in regards to work and reconstruction. But on his return to the Isle, things start happening. Mysterious occurrences start happening, and basically some of his workmen mistrust Tom. And now, basically, for things when they're starting to go wrong, they indicate the blame towards Tom Torrance. So yes, things start mysteriously going wrong, and the white men feel like that maybe Tom has brought a bad omen back with him. this book is very intense at times. It's very atmospheric at times. It's scary. It's as brutal as what it is beautiful in regards to the landscape, the seas, the elements, and the folk, the people of the isle itself, are very superstitious, are very wary of newcomers, and I'm not happy in regards to this lighthouse being built due to one reason and another, which I don't really want to go into because that was spoiled some of the stories. But yes, they're very superstitious. They're very protective of the isle and the sea, and they do not want this, for certain islanders who do not want this construction to happen for certain reasons. Tom is a very complex man. He's very aloof at times. He's very like what's described in the synopsis. He's very much a man of reason. A man of, kind of like a man of science, but he's a man of reason. He doesn't suffer fools gladly. He's not much into superstitions, superstitious nature, or anything like that. He's kind of, I wouldn't say he's closed off to folklore and legends and mysteries of the Isle, but he sort of shrugs it off. He's like, no, science doesn't dictate certain things. He basically shrugs off and ignores warnings when, warnings and advice when he's told. He sort of shrugs it off. He's like, kind of whatever attitude. Until things start happening that he can't quite explain. He can't fathom out, if you like. The islanders, I get a sense that this is kind of like a matriarchal society. In some respects, and the workmen on this reconstruction of the lighthouse are very wary of the women folk of there. Obviously due to superstitions and superstitious natures and things like that. They're very wary of the ladies of the island, and they are basically told to keep away from the women folk. I'll be honest, for good reason, as you find out at times later on during the story. But yeah, basically Tommy's dealing with grief, family grief and sorrow, and instead of dwelling in his sorrows, he just throws himself into work. He finds his solace in work, and he'd rather put his grief and his upset to the side and concentrate on the job at hand, until, as again, things start going wrong. It's very atmospheric at times. It is terrifying at times. it definitely gives you a sense of unease and foreboding, and creepy elements do sort of unnerve you at times. In regards to the immersive reading experience, Elaine is the queen of immersive reading. The way she describes the landscape, the violence of the seas, the elements, it's like you're there. Like when you're reading, it's almost like you can taste the salt water and the brine of the sea on your lips. You know, it's almost like you can just smell the sense of the salt water, the wafts of the brine from the seas. For the landscape, the flora, the fauna, the almost isolated sensations. It's like I'm there amongst the characters, what they're experiencing, what they're seeing, what their sense of smell are, you're experiencing along with them. You can feel the sense of dread, the unknown of being on an isolated island with the folk of the isle who really don't want you to be there. They have their reasons, and you can sort of feel the sense of unwelcoming, if you like, within the community. It's sort of like a Wicker Man-esque experience when you're reading it. In regards to Tom's character, he very much is reminiscent of Edward Woodward's character in The Wicker Man. His sense of Christian beliefs, if you like, overrides any superstitious, any folklore, myths, notions. He's not like got disrespect for the island. He's not got disrespect for the people of the isle. He just doesn't understand their beliefs in regards to nature, the sea, and the forces of, you know, the elements. He has his own sets of beliefs, he has his own sets of morals, and he sticks to them like glue. He sort of suppresses himself in certain situations, and he doesn't really suffer fools gladly in some respects. So he can't really understand the logic or the local logic of being respectful of folklore, of myths, of local legends, and that although he respects where he is, he has respect for the people of the isle, but he just doesn't understand where their logic is coming from. And that he sort of like suppresses his own wants and needs as well, for moral and religious values, if you like. The characters are very well written. The twists and turns in this book are, if I can say it, a joy to read. It's it's like you think you're being led down one path, when in fact you're being veered off in a total different direction altogether. I will be honest, to me, in some respects, at some points during the book, I did find a little bit repetitive in regards to the lighthouse and the lighthouse reconstruction and things like that. But I think in some respects you need that. You need that repetitiveness at times to remember where you are, that the situations are changing slightly. The sense of foreboding, the sense of unease, the sense of something's not quite right. And there is little twists and turns there, but it can come across a little bit repetitive at times. It can, but maybe that's a good thing, to keep you in that situation, to keep you in the story and to remember where you are. For the isolated, and the fear of, or the feeling and the fear of isolation. As I said, the descriptions are phenomenal. Like how she's the queen of immersive reading when it comes to like sense and smells and feeling that you're in the story, that you're standing next to these characters and you got the wafts of the sea, the brine, the salt, the kale, the seaweed, the flora and fauna of the land. It's like you're there amidst these characters. The ending took me off guard. Again, just to refer back to the Wicker Man just for a second, the way some things was described in the book in regards to driftwood, empires being built, offerings, the fear or the feeling of there's going to be some kind of sacrifice, some kind of offering to the seas, kind of reminding me of the Wicker Man. But as you get closer to the end and other things start to happen, you totally took off guard to what you thought was going to happen in regards to like Wicker Man-esque style, which I thought was very, very clever. Very clever. It took me off guard. I was not expecting to go down the route it did. So that was really well done. Again, like the characters, it's very much a matriarchal led in some respects, matriarchal in some respects society, which is why obviously that, like I've just said, basically the workforce, the reconstruction of the lighthouse, and basically not told to, but maybe advised not to associate with the women folk of the island due to superstitions and suspicious natures. With good reason. With good reason, and I'll leave it at that. There is some beautiful descriptions in the book. There is one what stood out to me and what I thought was absolutely stunning, I'll be honest. And this is in regards to one of the myths that's mentioned in the book, the Selkie. And it says, the Selkie is a true creature of the sea, but when she comes to land, she can shed her skin and take on the form of a woman. She is more beautiful and desirable than all other women, and if her skin is found by a man, he can force her to be his wife and make her stay with him forever. She may live with him for many years, for the rest of her life, but she is never truly his. And if she ever finds her hidden skin, then she will return to the water immediately. After that, she can never leave the sea again, can never visit her children or her human kin. Whether she is on the land or in the sea, the Saki is filled with longing. There can be no resolution for her, and her heart is forever broken. And that I thought was beautiful as well. It is heartbreaking. It touched my soul when I read that, and I just had a sense of, you know, pity. It really did touch my heart, touch my soul when I read that. But yeah, some of the dialogue and some of the settings in this book is absolutely stunning. You know, the words Borum wrote, and in the situations that some of these characters find themselves in, the words just, you know, beautifully match the, you know, the situations of what's going on. I just thought it was overall a beautiful, scary story. The atmosphere is quite tense at times. The supernatural elements, shall we say, are terrifying. I don't really want to go into too much detail just in case you want to read the book, which I do thoroughly recommend. But overall, it is a fantastic read. It's an enjoyable read. It's an immersive read. And you will feel the sense of what Tom is going through. The sense of his grief, his loss, and his determination to find another source to cope with his inner turmoil. And that outlet being on this isle, this is the Isle of Stroma in regards to reconstruction. But you'll also find him to be very aloof at times, very kind of at times ignorant to the situations he finds himself in regards to the fears of his workforce, and his aloofness to what the islanders' beliefs are, in contrast to his own spiritual beliefs, shall we say. So, like, he'll listen to what's being said, he will listen to advice, but he does not take that advice in, and he does his own thing, and basically is like, whatever, you know. His attitude at times is kind of like, whatever, you know. If I don't believe in it, it can't harm me, and that is his downfall at times. I can't really say too much about a couple of the characters in the book because it would spoil the ending. But yes, I very much enjoy my time, and I know it's took a while for me to read this, but for once I am glad I'm not the fastest of readers, because I enjoy savouring the story. I enjoy spending my time immersed in the story, and I'll go away now until next April for when which book comes out, so it's not like we jump straight into the next book. But overall, a fantastic, and yet another fantastic read by Elaine. Very much enjoyed it, and the only reason I'm going to give it the star rating that I am is just that I found it a little bit repetitive at times in the middle, in the central of the book. But that being said, it's like I've already said, maybe you needed there at times to remember where you are, you know, and the situations of what's going on. But I will give this book 4.5 stars out of 5. I very much recommend it, like I recommend all of Elaine's books, her Gem Flockhart series. The first book of the seasonal quartet, which was Hawthorne, which I read at the beginning of the year. And overall, I very much enjoy my time with the story on the Isle of Stroma, feeling the forces of the elements from all sides when reading. I enjoyed the spooky, atmospheric situations. I enjoyed reading about the myths and folklore of some of the, legends of the seas. I found that sequence in regards to Salkies very beautifully written, and overall a fantastic read. Very much enjoyed it, and I'm very much looking forward to next April when the third one comes out. So thank you, Elaine, for another great story, and I very much look forward to Witchwood in April. So thank you. 4.5 out of 5 stars. Brilliant read. Thoroughly recommend it. If you like your folk horror, folk suspense novels, then please try the seasonal quartet, and the first one being Hawthorne, and then this one, Saltwater. Very good, very good. Next up now, for my next read, which I'll be starting probably tonight. I'll just have a quick drink, sorry. The next book I'll be reading as from tonight is The Vampire Chronicles Blood Canticle by Anne Rice, which is that one. And this one says, the dazzling vampire Lestat was once the optimum of evil, but now he struggles with his immortality, yearning for a more saintly path. His chance comes when he rescues a witch from death by turning her into a vampire. But the repercussions are swift as the powerful Mayfair family rally to punish Lestat for creating a killer from one of their flock. Yet in the midst of this schism comes a passionate love affair as Lestat becomes dangerously drawn to Rowan Mayfair, a brilliant neurosurgeon and a true witch. However, the fates are cruel, and in an intense finale he must decide on the destiny of his beloved. Wow. I'll be honest guys, I was expecting to read that. No way would I have put Lestat and Rowan Mayfair together. So that has shocked me. Because when I've read these books, I haven't read the back of them, so I have no idea what's going to happen in these stories from one book to the next, because I don't read the backs of these books. And as I've said previously, I have read books 1 to 3 of the Vampire Chronicles many times over the years. But last year, I think it was last year, the early part of last year, I decided to reread the Chronicles from Tale of the Body Thief onwards. And that, so yeah, I haven't been reading the back of the books from the Tale of the Body Thief to know what the book's about. So yeah, this has shocked me, this has surprised me, and it was definitely a situation that I never thought I'd read about. But saying that, I haven't read the Mayfair Witches yet. I've been watching the TV programme. I'm currently watching season 1 at the moment. But yeah, that's threw me off guard in regards to Lestat and Rowan Mayfair. But it sounds interesting. So yeah, I'll be starting this one tonight. I just can't get my head around that. I can't get my head around Lestat and Rowan Mayfair being together. But anyway, I very much look forward to this. So yeah, caught off guard about that one. So that'll be interesting to find out. And that's it. So just to recap, Saltwater, Mystery Ghost Story by Elaine Thomson. 4.5 stars out of 5. Again, if you like, in regards to Jem Flockhart books, if you enjoy historical thrillers, historical fiction, then give Jem Flockhart series a chance if you like. And if you enjoy ghostly, supernatural, thrilling, atmospheric stories, then please give Hawthorne a read, which is the first book of Elaine's seasonal quartet. And obviously this is the follow-up. And that's it for today's video. This is what I'm going to read as from tonight. My coffee's gone cold, coldish. And that's it. So that's my review. That's my recap, my review on my next read. So as always, thank you for watching. Take care. Stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy reading. Happy tea or coffee. And I'll see you all again in my next video. Bye for now. Bye bye.